Hello everyone and welcome to What Culture Comics. I'm Josh, joined today by Ewan Patterson.
Hello.
Around somewhere. Hello Ewan, you got some big news today, and to be honest, I'm not going to pretend like I know much about it. I'm here purely to get excited and find out more, because there is a new Daredevil in town after Matt Murdock has gone to jail. It's right there for 2 years, and we have someone donning the name and donning the costume. Can you please tell me more, because I need to desperately know what the hell's going on here.
Yes, Daredevil is still the best. Daredevil's like the best Marvel comic ever, Josh, and Daredevil's the best superhero ever. And you know why? It's because he's only had like a couple of bad runs in his entire career. Every single run is an absolute banger for the most part. And Chip Zdarsky is not disappointed for the past year. He's 25 issues into his run now, man. And it is some of the most insightful, intriguing, exciting Daredevil that I have read in years. And yes, to give people a bit of context as to where we all are now. At the start of Zdarsky's run on Daredevil, old Matt Murdock accidentally kills a criminal in the line of duty. He's vigilanteing, and then the person he attacks ends up basically dying from a hit to the head. And this weighs on Matt, because obviously, you know, as a devout Catholic, he has vowed never to take a life. And he basically decides that he needs to be a martyr for the superhero cause. He needs to, after basically some like umming and ahhing on the whole thing, he realizes that he needs to go to prison as Daredevil. And this picks up on an earlier arc that we had with Charles Soule, where Matt Murdock petitioned the courts so that superheroes could testify in court in their secret identities. Well, as the heroes they are, so they don't compromise their secret identities. So he has this trial, and during this point in time, he realizes that he can't go to prison because at the same time, the main villains of the run so far, the Stromwinds, who are basically like the evilest gentrification duo in the land, are planning to buy up all of Hell's Kitchen and subjugate it to like their awful practices. So he tries to convince Tony Stark. He's like, Tony Stark, come on, buy up all of Hell's Kitchen for me, you greedy billionaire. And Tony's like, but my money! And then he ends up doing it anyway, but then he gets outbid at the last second. You're like, crap, who's outbidding?
Oh no.
And Daredevil is all like, oh no, this is terrible. And he gets into court, and then he hears Elektra in the room whispering to him. That she has actually bought up all of Hell's Kitchen. And Matt's like, well, now I can finally go to prison and do this because Elektra has bought the kitchen. I have no idea why she's done that, because that's not very Elektra of her, but it's cool anyway. And before that, they have a little heart-to-heart when they're in prison on the way to the trial, where Daredevil's like, I can't trust you because, you know, you're all about the killing thing and the assassin thing and the chase and all this business with the hand. It's too much drama for me. And after the trial, and Elektra's basically fuming, being like, why have I done this for this stupid, this man I love? Why have I done this? Why have I done this? And she comes across, she has an exchange with a woman that Matt Murdock had helped years earlier, and that galvanizes her into action. She actually realizes that Matt is Daredevil, so this is a thing that she always knew it in the old, before the Purple Children were involved. I sound like I've got like a big board behind me and I've got string going everywhere, right?
I like it. It's the best way to experience this story, perhaps, at least for me, Ewan, right now.
There was a big retcon involving the Purple Children, who are, yes, related to the Purple Man, where they wiped the entire... Everyone who knew Matt Murdock was Daredevil, they wiped the memory so they wouldn't know that. But Elektra has just known because she's discovered a book that is related to how they take down the Hand as well. Anyway, after this moment of clarity, after this epiphany, Elektra vows to protect Hell's Kitchen as the new Daredevil. Yes, while Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, is in prison, living his sentence, Elektra has decided to become the new Daredevil. She dons a really, really, really cool costume, and it's just the coolest reveal ever. You're just there going through it. You get this really great shot, and then it's just a full. I can't even hold a comic properly on this video, but you get this really brilliant shot. Marco Cicchetto doing absolutely amazing art, but there you go. They're in the full costume. It's really cool, and I have no idea how long this is going to go on for, but I hope it's a long time.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm experiencing all this through secondhand from you, because I think
it's
you
not the
posted
right
on
way
Twitter.
to experience it at all.
No, I'm sure it's not, but I'm getting the excitement from you. I think you posted on Twitter being like, if you're not reading the current run of Daredevil, you're totally missing out, and I feel that right now. You mentioned there that obviously, you know, we don't know how long this is going to be for. I think Matt Murdock's sentence is 2 years in jail for the manslaughter. How does this differentiate like this passing of the mantle for at least this limited time from previous times that other people have become Daredevil essentially? Because I think it was Iron Fist who became Daredevil the last time something similar happened.
Yeah. So in the brilliant Devil and Cell Block D storyline from Ed Brubaker and Michael Lark, Danny Rand does assume the mantle of Daredevil to basically take suspicion off Matt Murdock, and obviously protect Hell's Kitchen as well. Whereas this is a much more of a symbolic thing, and it's a new thing for Elektra as well. And whereas obviously it was obvious at the time when that storyline was going with Daredevil, with Matt Murdock being in prison and everyone was in prison, he was in prison for being Daredevil or whatever. It was very much a different thing. This is much more of a legacy type thing, it feels to me. This isn't a case of I'm taking suspicion off anyone. They know it's a new Daredevil. This is about honoring the legacy of that and what Daredevil means to Hell's Kitchen specifically, and how Daredevil can be a hero of the people. And I wonder if this is going to be like a Mighty Thor situation where you'll recall Jane Foster became Thor and became, the new goddess of thunder for, I think, it came about in 2013, I want to say, and she was in that role until 2016, 2017. So that was a while. And I do think, that there's a storyline that Zdarsky is building to here involving the Hand as well, which Matt Murdock will obviously be involved with too. But I'm definitely curious to see whether the book switches perspective and it's more of an Elektra-driven book now, or whether it kind of flips between the two, because we don't know. It's just a really cool change of pace to me. I've been loving the comic all the way through. And as far as big status quo changes go, this is probably the biggest that Daredevil has had since Brian Bendis unmasked him to the world and everyone discovered that Matt Murdock was in fact Daredevil. So that is a very exciting thing for me, given that storyline came out like over 10 years ago, like 14 years ago, something like that.
I think it's a fascinating way to do it, as a kind of outsider. When I've observed, superhero switch-ups, it's often when the original, person donning the costume or whatever has been either out of action or not been around or completely dead. Whereas here, we've got Matt Murdock, still around in jail, but we've got like Elektra trying to live up as this new Daredevil to that legacy, like you said, and, trying to do that while someone else is still around. I think it adds a cool little nuance and a cool little wrinkle to it. Before I wrap up here, though, I want to ask just one kind of general question, and that's how you have this entire storyline out ahead of you. You mentioned there the potential to switch perspectives in the book itself. What is the kind of like one thing that you want to see come out of this reveal in this kind of new direction for the book as a whole?
It's an interesting one to me because obviously Elektra works as her own character as Elektra. Elektra is an iconic character in and of herself. So I don't necessarily want to see it be the case that, potentially we have two Daredevils, although that's what we have right now, which I think is really cool. But I definitely don't want to see it. It's a weird one for me because I guess it's the same with other legacy type characters where you have like Dick Grayson when he became Batman. Nightwing was such a cool character in its own right. Do you want to retire them? Same with the Winter Soldier when he became Captain America. So obviously this won't be a permanent change. But I do. There's an element of tragedy going in here because we learn in the prophecy that someone is going to get sacrificed, and that clearly Elektra is gearing herself up to be sacrificed for Matt. But what if it change? What if that doesn't happen? What if Matt sacrifices himself for her, and Elektra assumes the mantle for a much longer time? It totally could happen. Matt Murdock is such a storied character and has been put through the ringer by plenty of writers over the years. He has suffered so much. Maybe this is how they retire the character for at least a little while. I don't know. Either way, I'm just really excited. I'm just along for the ride at this point, Josh. I have no firm thing that I want to see, but I'm just I'm blown away all the time by every issue. So
that's a good position to be in, when whatever happens next, you have faith in that it's going to be good, no matter how out there it may be. It sounds incredibly fascinating to me, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think of this new reveal? How do you want them to approach it in future issues? And are there any other superhero switch-ups that you think were pulled off just as well as this? Let us know, and while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't, you can follow me on Twitter at Josh Brune. I've been Josh. You can follow Ewan on Twitter at
Ewan ruins
Ewan
things.
ruins things. For more excellent comic-based insight, and until next time, we'll see you soon.
Bye.